Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Shikanshu.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. We'll be just beginning in a minute or two. Hi, Datta.
Hey, can you hear me out? Super.
Yep. Good morning, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the monthly talk show of In6s. Today we have our guest, Mr. Dattaprasad Sadwelkar from AWS. He is a partner solution architect at AWS, and he helps organizations do more and do better with spending less on AWS infrastructure and achieve their technological goals in terms of cloud adoption and cloud migration. Datta brings in a lot of expertise around GenAI and how we can achieve more from GenAI over AWS, and in general, that's what he'll be talking about today. So with that, I would like to thank you all who are joining in and who have joined in. Over to you, Datta.
Thanks, Shetanshu. That was a wonderful introduction. Thanks. My name is Datta. My full name is Dattaprasad, but people call me Datta. Some people call me Data as well. So I said Data with extra T in it, and data is new oil, right, in the industry. Yep. So that's why. And from security perspective, yes, absolutely, data is important. That's what we protect. That's what we secure, right? So in the world now with generative AI, and security is becoming more and more important. Why is because with generative AI we can do so many things, and then what happened to my data, whatever as content I created, what happens to that, whether they are secured, even the models which are generating the data, which whether they are secured or not. That's what we are going to look at it. But before we start in, right, I just want to give you a little bit brief about generative AI. Understand we may have an audience from different part of the world and different stages in generative AI journey, right? So just going to go through quickly rundown with agenda. So we'll talk about generative AI foundations, industry frameworks and standards from security perspective. Then we're looking at the protecting the generative AI innovation, because that's what is very important. We don't want to compromise on our innovation while we are doing protecting our environment, securing our environment, right? So, and then we'll see how we can use generative AI to strengthen the security posture, and there will be additional resources we'll be sharing at the end of the session. So stay tuned, stay until end, so you will get something to take away from this call. Okay, super. With that, industry trends. Okay, 89% of the executives rank the cybersecurity. Is there any? If you're not speaking, probably if you can go on mute, that will be great, because I think there's a noise coming in. Okay, so these are the stats, industry trends. Okay, 89% of executive ranks cybersecurity in the top 3 priorities, along with AI ML. So that's very important to note. Secondly, 94% of the executives say that important to secure AI solution before deployment, not after the deployment. Okay, and 72% of the IT professionals say that cybersecurity will be top priority to adoption of generative AI. That's from the KPMG. And these are the industry trends. I want to give some kind of view to you folks before you start even thinking about. So thereon. Now, fundamental question is introduction to generative AI. I know you would have heard about it. You would have not heard about it, generative AI, until you are living under the rock. But I believe that you will be knowing it. And what it does basically, it generates the content, it generates the text, and we'll see how does that happen. And it not just generates the content, it also generates the images, and that's what is a great part about it. So now let's look at it how things works and where this started actually. In 2017, there's a paper which is written, and there are some authors for that. The great guys from the AI/ML industry, reputed ones, they have wrote a paper, Transformer, and the title of the paper was "Attention is all you need." So generative AI is not new. We just heard 2 years back, right? 2022, beginning of 2022, or end of in December 2021. That's the time when everybody got to know about the generative AI. But it wasn't that. And we in the industry from Amazon, we are using AI/ML for last 20 years in the platform, in the solutions. So it is not something new. But how it is transformed, how it started becoming more mainstream because of the generative nature of it. You can generate a content which has become more popular. You can do a lot many things. And this architecture has actually transformed the whole the viewpoint, how things can be done. Before that, there were previous architectures, and they like R&R and things like that. So it was transformative. Now, I would say that you would have seen that text generation happens. You ask, you give the prompt, you ask LLM model to something. LLM model is a large language model. Now those are the ones which are answered. And how does this happen? So I will just give a simple example. We would have spent probably more time about it, but I'm conscious about the time. So I'm going to go a little bit faster on this. Okay. So you give a prompt once upon a time. This goes to the LLM model, and what it does is like it gives that as a context to the LLM model. LLM model generates one thing. It does only one thing. It generates next word, or I would say that it predicts new word. And this is how it generates it from the model. And then next we get a next word, which is there once upon a time there. And this process is iterative. And again, this whole information is fed back. The new word, which is original text plus new word generated, it's fed back to the LLM model, and you get a next word again predicted. So all the time, LLM model does one thing, which is predict next word. This is how we get a full sentence. This is the logic, and this is just I want to give you a glimpse of it. The completion you get it at a end part, right? Once upon a time there was a mysterious magic castle, and this happens because LLM models are trained on large number of billions of parameters. The internet scale data has been provided to this model to train. So this is amazing, and this is how we get the next part. Now I'm going to switch gear. This is the basic. This is how the text generation. A lot of folks don't know about how text generation happen. People see it, but I just want to give that brief view of. Okay, so now we want to use this LLM model not just as a chatbot, but we want to build application with this in the enterprise environment, right? So we want to do that in a way that you can use this technology in your enterprise organizations for a business purpose, business benefit purpose. And how to do that? So for that, Amazon has got Bedrock service. So this is the easiest way to build and scale generative AI application by using the foundational model, FMs or LLMs. Okay. So now this has become more easier. Building application with generative AI has become more easier, and a lot of folks, a lot of organizations are doing this at scale. But important part, we are going to touch upon the security part of it, right? So I'm going to briefly go and talk about how does the LLM model or Bedrock service works. So Bedrock service gives you the option to choose the FM model, there are a wide variety of models available. I think there are 6, 7, and every single week you see in the news that new models are being introduced, and you get to see those models. So you can choose the model, use it, or customize it. Bedrock service allows you to customize the model, and then you send a prompt to the model and you receive the response. So now with this part, you can do this simply by making an API call. And I have previously run the sessions, and there is a link available. That session is available in the skill builder, AWS skill builder, where you can go and run those, play those skills, where I've shown actually a demo of how to build GenAI based application by using Bedrock in a couple of minutes. It's so easy, so simple, by using the API calls. Now we'll change few gears. Now looking at generative AI is great. Everybody, I think there's no doubt about it. Everybody is enjoying it. Everybody is taking advantage of it. But now question about how do I secure secure this, whether it is secure, whatever data I'm giving it to the AI LLM model, whether that is been secure or whether it is misused, or second part is like, if I ask LLM model, because LLM models are trained at internet scale data, if I use that straight away into my enterprise organization and output it generates, can that output, I'm going to trust it, or can I may get a wrong output, and do I going to who will be responsible for that? So that's what we call hallucination. So there are three considerations. Hallucination is a very important point, where generative LLM models have a tendency to generate something which doesn't exist, or maybe factually incorrect. For organization, for enterprise, that's not good thing. So how do we control that? How do we manage that? That is very important from the security perspective. Second part is data privacy. And when you use which data is being used for building this model or customizing this model becomes very important. Whether your organization confidential data is being exposed outside or not, that is very important. Any organization want to understand that, and having a traceability for that, having a security controls around that is very, very important. Third thing is quality control. Now, what output is came out, whether we can use it for business purpose or not, so that's the very important thing. And I'm going to show I got a couple of slides further, which will talk about how to put guardrails around this. So how do you define the guardrails? What data should be or what response should go out to the user, or can I restrict that if the language is not appropriate, the response which is not appropriate? Can I filter that out? Can I block that out? And these are the controls are very, very important from the security perspective. Now, from the aspect of generative AI security of the generative AI is something, how do I secure my business application that leverage GenAI? So now you can't go and restrict any organizations or user or employees in that organization not to use generative AI. I think that will be detrimental. We don't recommend that. We want that behavior to be encouraged, right? But at the same time, how do I secure that when employees are using generative AI in their organization? Second part is using GenAI to secure. So this is where shifting the part here, right? So whether can I use a generative AI to secure my organization? Can I use it for securing my infrastructure? And answer is yes, and we'll see about that. And that also helps you to take it to next level of automation, right? Security from the generative AI and third party security from the generative AI. Security from the generative AI threats. If the bad actor is using the generative AI to break into any of the organized security, how do you control that? How do you manage that? And how do you play around with that? So from that perspective, it is very important. So we are going to look at generative AI security scoping matrix here. Okay, so this is a mental model to classify use cases. So there are five cases are there. So scope one, which is kind of consumer application, use a public generative AI service like Party Rock. Party Rock is similar to the where you can give a prompt to the model, and model will build application for you. I will share the link after this at the final stage. Or even if you Google it, this is a free of cost offering from the AWS. It doesn't cost you anything. You can use this application, the Party Rock, to build responses or build your own generative AI application just by giving a prompt. So this is so amazing, Similarly, Midjourney, ChatGPT, these are the services. These are like entry point, like basic consumer application. End user can use any end user can use this application. Okay, so now second one is enterprise application. First one is commonly used by anyone, individual. Second one is enterprise application, using the app for or SaaS kind of offering with generative AI features like a Salesforce or Amazon Code Whisperer that has been now rebranded as Amazon Q. And these are enterprise application. And the things shift when it becomes enterprise application. You cannot use the consumer application, which is freely available in enterprise kind of environment because of the security controls, because of the data privacy. Those are the very important things. Third one is a pre-trained model. So you build until first and second, you are not training any model. You are using the model, which we call inference. So you're consuming the pre-trained model. Now here pre-trained models can be further enhanced or further used into your enterprise application, or you can do the fine tuning of the model. For example, you want the responses to be specific to your organization data, not like internet scale data. If I have got my own organization wiki and I want my organization users to use that and come up with the responses from that data, which is not available on internet. This is where the security controls will come in place, right? This is where the RAG part plays role. This is where the retrieval augmented generation becomes very important. And you can use these features to build by using the Bedrock services as a base model. Second one, fine tune the model. So fourth one is the fine tune the model, which allows Bedrock to customize your model for your own. Third thing is using the self-trained model. So it is talking about building our own model, LLM model for our application. And typically you will see the use cases in current scenarios in 1, 2, 3, which are the orange one. Fourth and fifth use cases are the organizations who are deeply into the AI/ML journeys for last so many years. They have developed the expertise and they're building a model from the scratch. They have a high level of technical expertise into that, and we'll see that. At the bottom part now, all these 5 scopes required securing generative AI. And if you look at it, that's where the governance and compliance comes in for scope 1 and scope 2. Even if the any generative AI consumer application is available for everybody, any employee of the organization, still it requires some level of governance. And this is where the cybersecurity frameworks, which will play a bigger role and to allow to the compliance. Second part is legal and privacy. Legal frameworks, privacy frameworks, risk management. How do you do the risk assessment, or have you done the triage for the application? That remains still same the way it has been done earlier from any other risk security risk assessment. Same thing still applies to GenAI based application. That doesn't change anywhere. So you can use the same framework, same thing. There are additional controls, additional levers available in the systems now. And the controls and the resilience. Now you build application from enterprise organization point of view. It is very important that you build something, but if you don't make it highly available, then and it could cause a downtime because of a non-availability of the LLM model, it could have a problem. So you need to think about how you're going to make it high available, how you're going to run multiple models on the highly available system or clusters. And that's what something start becoming more important for the enterprise. So generative AI assurance considerations. No global prescriptive approach is available as of now. So AI, this field, security framework or security assurance is evolving. It is still not defined. So currently 800 AI policy initiatives across 69 countries, territories, including EU, Artificial Intelligence AI Act coming up in 2024. Canada, United States, and India are working on developing the framework and fine-tuning them. They are going through iterative process. However, the existing security like ISO, those are still applicable. And then additional new standards and guidelines are coming out frequently. You can see that NIST-AI, MITRE, Atlas, ISO, those are all going through the evolution. So this is the evolving field. There is no final wording is available, and by the time it comes, something new will come. So every week you hear something new, information, new update, new news are coming on this generative AI world now. So you got to be keeping attention. I'm going to share a link there. Subsequently, you will see that. Okay. So let's quickly move through the OAPS, the Open Web Application Security Project, right? And that has highlighted the 10 of those security challenges, what it could go wrong. This is what you need to pay attention to when you're building your generative AI-based application, or you are using or planning to use generative AI into your enterprise in some way, either of the 4 or 5 scopes we look at, right? Or you're building your own GenAI-based application, prompt injection, insecure output handling. If output is insecure, how you're going to handle that? And there are guardrails, how to use those guardrails. Features are available. If you don't use those, then you can't control the output which is generated by the LLM models. That's where these are very important. Similarly, prompt injection. You can ask LLM model anything, right? You can ask LLM model how to create a bomb. Should that be allowed actually to process by the LLM model? So you can put a guardrail to control that prompt, saying that something like that comes in. By putting the right phrases, you can block those kind of prompts even going into the model, which will be learning from those kind of prompts. So you can avoid that by using the guardrail. Similarly, model denial of service attack, people can start throwing a lot of attacks or a lot of requests which can downplay. And I have given that, we'll not cover that because it's going to take. The final one, the model theft. If you customize your model or build your model and you don't put security controls around that, or you don't have a appropriate level of encryption or access controls, your model may get theft. And that will be trained, if that's been trained on your confidential data, your organization possess big risk for that. So you need to ensure that your models are secured and not accessible just like that for anybody when you're talking about the enterprise organization, not like a public internet where anything is available free of cost or freely available. Anybody can use those, right? Open source has got benefit. At the same time, you need to have enough controls to protect it. So there is a link, sorry, I rushed through. There's a link at the bottom source where this information comes from the open source project. You can go through that, you can browse, and this is getting updated I think every weekly or every monthly. So you need to keep eye on this. What are the new controls are which coming in? What are the new risks are arising because of new approach, new generative AI application approach, and what things are happening actually, how things are changing now. Now, coming to innovate confidently, my intention was not to scare you out by showing you all of that, but at the same time, generative AI is great, but you need to be aware how to use that in more secure and controlled way. So important question I all the time gets like, we want to move fast or want to stay secure, so that's the balance, or the trade-off. And it is always like, whether can I move fast with using the latest technology by using the innovation, or do I need to stay secure and I will ignore all the new things that are coming in the market industry? What should I do? And the right question to address this is like, move fast, use innovation, use the latest technology, and stay secure, not or. So that's the important part. So traditionally, it is you have to choose between, or you have to do a trade-off between these two terms. But it is now we are talking about how we will enable you by using these controls, automated controls, security controls. You can still use the technology, latest technology like a GenAI, and still stay secure. So that's the important balance we need to pay attention to. So innovate confidently with the safe and secure AI on AWS. So AWS provides features and controls to use the GenAI technology or innovate using the GenAI technology by ensuring the security controls. That's core. At AWS, security is job zero. So no compromise on security. We got to do security from the day one, and we have to embed that at every level when we are actually going into so we always talk about multi-layer security. I have one slide, probably I'll bring it if time permits. So now AI security include basically build on cloud that provides the security and confidence to accelerate the innovation. That's very important. And AWS provides 143 security and compliance certifications, secure by design. Every single time you build any solution, you have got a multi-layer security application where you can apply security to. Most operational experience in the security. That's why the government organizations like CIA, MI5, they use AWS for their national security infrastructure or national security environment. So quickly moving on, the challenge. Unparalleled expertise in AI and security. The challenge is automate security checks to continually enforce control and mathematically prove the highest level of security. And AWS approach is provable security. You can prove that whether your environment is secure. There has to be traceability, automatically detect security events, and security automation at scale. And this is where the Insexis is doing great work. I talk to Chitanshu and Insexis team all the time, and I understand that the work they're doing for putting this automation, the level of security, the CISO as a service, those are amazing things. This is what is required in today's time. You cannot do things on your own. You need to have a partner who can help you to build that for you and ensure that security controls are applied at appropriate way. So moving on, I'm going to skip out these slides. It talks about the same protective generative AI from the generative AI innovation. So at AWS, we look at we have a shared responsibility model. So where is the security? What is the part of the responsibility of AWS and what is the part of the responsibility of the customer? And when we say it is a part of the customer responsibility, we provide tools and services for customer to apply that to your application when you're building it. Not like don't have any, you need to have your own ways of doing security. It's not like that. That's where I was referring to 143 services controls we have provided so that you as a customer, you as a partner who is building the application can leverage those services controls and build your secure application. So security has to be in your thinking all the time. So these are the part. Basically blue part you can see customer responsibilities, and orange part is AWS responsibility in the security. And as you go from left to right, you can see that where you use the managed services more, you're part of the security control, you don't have to worry much about it. But if you are building it from scratch, you need to take care of the security from the your application design build perspective. So defense in depth. I think this is amazing. I talked about multi-layer security controls. Multi-layer security controls talks about where to protect the data protection, and policies and procedure awareness. So this is where you need to think about the security, right? Where am I protected my data center? Does that mean I'm secured? That was a concept in the old time traditionally, but that has changed now, right? Significantly. And in the cloud, when we move into the move your application to cloud or run your workload from the cloud, it is important thing from the perspective that you get a higher view of the controls. At the same time, all levels are secured with identity access management, network edge protection, threat detection, infrastructure protection, application protection, and data protection. So that's very important. So I'm going to quickly do a time check. We got another 4 minutes. So I got more slides. Probably I would have spoken more. So I'm going to go quickly through this defense in depth. So we got so many services available, which I showed. And there's a NIST framework which is available for cybersecurity. You can have a look at it and have a conversation with the insects to understand how they can help you to implement those security controls in your environment. Moving on next. So I'm going to quickly run through. I want to show one more part of the, okay. So generative AI stack. And this is where we think about generative AI application in 3 parts. At the top tier, you can see there are services like consumer application, Amazon Q for QuickSight, Amazon Q for Connect, Amazon Q for developers. So developers can use Amazon Q to write application or build application. And while you're doing that, you can also ensure that security checks have been included while you're writing the application. So code which is written can go through the security scan while you're building it. You can build test cases, security test cases. So that's the amazing part of the service you can leverage. Secondly, the guardrails which I was mentioning about. So middle tier were tools to build with LLM applications. So when you build the application, you can easily build application, which I talked about. You can customize the LLM model by using the RAG and other fine-tuning techniques, which are straightforward to use. Then you can build agent, which can run a couple of tasks in your workflow, end-to-end workflow, to ensure that AML is being leveraged to the optimal to enhance the productivity of your end-to-end application, and then putting the guardrails in the front at the end so that it ensures that the output which you don't want it to go to the user, that can be blocked or that can be protected. So data can be protected, whereas the prompt injection can be also controlled, as well as the output which is generated from the LLM model. If it is not in compliant with your organization policy, you can block it there and there itself. So that's the amazing part. And bottom part is the infrastructure where we can use it. So Bedrock provides ensure security, secure generative AI journey. So there are various controls available, which we talked about. Now, I would suggest you folks that go and check out the Amazon Q developers. It's a service which is available. You don't need to have AWS account for that. You can register with AWS Builder ID. You can create that, which is free of cost, and use the Amazon Q for developer, which has got two versions. One is a free version, and then another one is a pro version. Pro version comes with enterprise level controls and security, whereas you can use the queue for developer in a basic way without required to pay any charges to use that. You can embed that into your favorite IDE like VS Code, or even you are using Amazon Cloud9 platform for building your application. Those are all integrated as a part of AWS Builder Toolkit. So that said, I'm going to check the time. We are sharp on 30 minutes, Shitanshu. So we want to have further conversations on this. I have got some more slides, but I'm going to skip those out. Probably, yeah. I promise that I'm going to share the slide which has got additional resources. This is the slide where we have provided some of the ebooks, the blogs. You can go and read them. The infographics where it shows the LLM model, the progress, and some of the content which is available, so that you can start learning how to use GenAI, how to use GenAI for enterprise, as well as for your individual productivity as a developer or organization. You can use that. Also, you can build application by using LLM, generative AI. Put that straight into the application, make your application more efficient or more productive. That is what is the need of the time now. And then when all of that has been built, how do you secure it and put a security wrapper? Or if internally, if you don't have the capabilities, you can always look out for partners like Insexis to come and help you to do the security assessment from the generative AI lens or overall security landscapes. That's very important. And with that, I'm going to thank everyone for your time. I know I've gone a bit faster, but certainly this recording will be available. You can bit slow down and watch it again. If you still have further questions, reach out to us, myself or Shitanshu, and we will be happy to help you out in your journey. Okay. With that, Shitanshu.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Datta. Thanks for this session, and hope all the audience must have found something to take away from this. And we as an organization in Success is always available to partner in the cloud journey, in the GenAI journey, where organizations want to establish, migrate into cloud. And we are at core a security company, so security is always at the paramount. As you mentioned, it's not scale or security, it's scale and security. Absolutely. With the pay.
Absolutely. There's no or option there. I think if you stay with the or, then you will always think about doing a trade-off, right? And what we want you to think about, you do the speed as well as security. I think that's where it's a very important thing.
Absolutely. With this, I think we have a few minutes left with us. In case anyone from audience want to ask any questions,
feel
free to do so right now, or just drop us a note with your questions, and we would be happy to get back to you with your answers. Also, in case you need more details, more knowledge, please feel free to connect with one of InSuccess team members, or drop a note to insuccess@insuccess.com, and we will be definitely responding to each and every query.
Absolutely, miss, because there is a lot we covered. I had still more slides to cover, but I know that we have a time constraint. So that said, I don't want to leave you with any open questions. If you have any open questions, you can ask now, or you can always reach out to us after the call. I see
definitely the time, and we'll be calling you soon again for the next talk, so that we keep continuing, keep spreading the knowledge, spreading the expertise amongst our viewers and subscribers.
Yeah, I think there's a one question which I can see here is how to start journey with AWS with the best certification. I think there are a lot of certifications available, a lot of courses are available, and most of those are going to be like available. Many courses from AWS are available free of cost. You can browse through the AWS Skill Builder portal. You need to register as with AWS ID, but that doesn't cost you anything. And you can start browsing the course. There are some courses which I also taught, and those recordings should be available there, and you can go through using them. You need to have some
There's
coding.
another question.
Okay.
Do we need to have some coding background?
So yes, I think now that's a good question. Thanks, Anmol, for asking that. So if you restrict yourself having a coding experience and that blocks you to get onto the generative AI journey, I would say that answer to your question is no. But having coding experience is always helpful, but that doesn't block you. We now started talking about, like, in the industry, no code, low code, So you can literally build application with drag and drop tools. So that is something you can leverage if you want to. But if you want to really go deep dive, then some of the parts you need to understand. Now, probably I've also written code quite many years back now. We don't do coding day in, day out. But understanding of the code is very important if you can learn that. But that should not be a blocker. You can pick up some, if you don't know anything about coding and you don't know anything about generative AI, you can pick up the basics knowledge and build up on top of that, So that's something I would recommend, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Datta. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. And we look forward to be joining you in the next events, which we are going to organize. This is a monthly talk series which InSuccess organizes every month. And we soon will be having another modus of knowledge sharing, and also to have contributors working along with us and to grow in their professional journey.
Absolutely.
Thanks everyone. Thanks a lot.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day ahead.